So you've had your offer accepted, congratulations. Now the next step is that you need to provide your estate agent with solicitor's details. Now they're going to want those within the first 24 or 48 hours, and I really hope you took my advice from the first part of this series and got your solicitors involved early on, so you already have those details to provide to your estate agent. I'm Emma Monday from Conveyancing Collective, and I've spent the last 25 years helping people with property. So whether you're buying, selling or extending a lease, I'm here to demystify the process and explain things without all the jargon. Once they have the seller's solicitor's details too, they will provide you with sales memorandums. And the sales memorandum is a document stating who the seller is, who the buyer is, and who the solicitors are for both parties. And it goes to all four parties involved. On this as well will state any conditions of the agreed sale. So if there's certain timeframes you've agreed to or items to be left in the property, at that point will be on the bottom of that sales memorandum. And now your solicitor will be able to request draft contracts from the seller's solicitor. You will also need to do onboarding with your lawyer if you haven't already done so. So just make sure you keep in touch with them and check that you've filled in all the forms they require. The other thing that your estate agent wants to know you've done is booked in your mortgage application appointment with your broker. So have this booked in as soon as you can. Your broker will need your solicitor's details. They'll run through with you products that are available and help you complete the application process for the mortgage. You may have to provide lots of bank statements and documentation, so just be really prepared to put some time and effort into gathering old statements and things you might have lost in the back of a drawer or something. The main thing is that you have this application submitted as soon as possible, because only at this point then will your mortgage provider book in your survey, so your mortgage valuation survey. This looks at the value of the property and checks that the mortgage lender is not lending you too much towards the purchase and for their own due diligence. Now, if you want to have your own survey carried out, which most people like to do, because at the end of the day you are committing to buying this property and everything that comes with it, you can have a chartered survey over a home buyer's level 2 or 3 to look at the condition of the property. RICS is the governing body, the Royal Institute of Chartered Surveyors, which you want to make sure your surveyor is registered with. They would then provide you with a full report on the property. They're not gas engineers or electricians, so they may put down that these are a poor level, like red or orange for your boiler or your electrics. That's because they can't say they're safe. If you are concerned about the electrics or the gas, you need to speak to your estate agent, to speak to the vendor and see if they have any guarantees, warranties or service documentation. If they don't, you may then wish to obtain an electrician's report or a gas engineer to go and look at the boiler, for example. Do this as early on as you can. You don't want to start doing this right at the end and then actually change your mind about buying the property or start renegotiating over it months into the process. One thing people rarely talk about as well is an upfront cost that you need to pay for, which are the searches. This is usually a pack of information that's required by your mortgage lender. Your solicitor will obtain this and order it for you, but you will need to pay for it. It includes the local authority report, drainage and water search from the water board, the environmental report, and a chancel repair indemnity is usually included as well. I'll do a video about these items and what they are for and what they include, but you don't need to know too much information until you get the report and go through the details in it. These can take 3 or 4 weeks sometimes to come through, so again you want to get those ordered as soon as you can, paid for and ordered as soon as you can. So going back to the solicitors, your solicitor would have requested the contracts pack from the seller's solicitor, and also if you're buying a leasehold, maybe the management pack from the freeholder's managing agent that would have come through. Your solicitor will go through all of this information. If there's a lease, they'll check the lease, they'll check how it's managed, any potential works. They would go through the title documents and prepare any inquiries, firstly standard inquiries and additional inquiries for the seller's solicitor to answer. Now once there's a lot of back and forth in this process, and during this time it might be very quiet. You might notice not much is happening. I would say as a buyer it's so important to keep in touch with your estate agent. Let them know what you're doing. If you're doing your application, you're paying for your survey, you've paid for your searches, etc. But also just check in with them if they have any further updates along the way. Unfortunately, this sort of middle area of buying a property, the legal work kind of is going on in the background. The solicitors are going back and forth quite a lot, and your estate agent may be privy to some of the emails going back and forth that they can make you aware of. Just remember, your estate agent is the only person in this whole process who can speak to the buyer, the seller, both sets of solicitors and the broker. So I would say lean on them, and they want to get the sale through as much as you want to buy it. They're on commission. Always speak to them, be their friend, ask them if there's anything else you can do as a buyer in the meantime. If they're having problems getting hold of your solicitor, help them out by contacting your solicitor and trying to bring them into a conversation, maybe as an email, to arrange a call together. The main thing is, don't get disheartened if it does go quiet. There are things happening in the background, but just do check in. Now, once your solicitor has all or most of the answers that they need, they will provide you with a report on everything. So they'll report on the searches, any information about the title, any restrictive covenants and things they may have found. They will expect you to go through this pack of information as carefully as you can. There will be a summary, but you must look at all of the documentation. And I would say sit down and give yourself a couple of days, quietly go through, take some notes if you're not sure about anything or you need clarification, to run through with your solicitor. There's a phrase they use called buyer beware. Your solicitor is there to provide the information for you. They're not there to tell you what to do. So please check everything through and raise any queries with your solicitor, especially if you want clarification on any points. These can be raised with the freeholder or with the seller or with the estate agent along the way. Now, your mortgage lender will also have been reported to in a similar way by your solicitor. They may have issues with the property that you don't have issues with. So just because you're ready to go doesn't mean your lender is ready to go. So your solicitor may have a bit of running around to do at this side of things as well. So this is where it does get quite vague. Every sale is different. This is where it can get quite complicated and quite a few plates spinning at the same time. But it is going to all come together. 75% of the time it all comes together. Now, exchange of contracts. This will happen when you are happy with everything with the property and your mortgage lender is happy to provide the final mortgage offer. You will agree a completion date with the seller. So this is a mutually agreeable date where both of you can physically pass the keys over for the property. So either you can move in that day or you can at least collect the keys, and the seller will make sure they have vacated the property if that's what's been agreed as part of the sale, that it's vacant when they sell. The main thing is to be flexible where you can and to be prepared now, because your solicitor will need 10% of the purchase amount, which is your deposit, on their account in order to exchange contracts. So again, make yourself available to get down to the bank and sort out the transfer of those funds. There's so many times where we've been ready to exchange contracts and then the buyer said, oh, I can't transfer the funds till Monday, and we're ready to exchange on Friday. So just be ready for it. Just keep in touch with your solicitor about that. They will also provide you a completion statement. This will basically tell you what you've paid already and what balance will need to be paid in time for completion day. Now, if you are buying with a mortgage, completion day is usually at least 5 working days after exchange of contracts. This is because the solicitor wants to make sure that there's 5 clear days for those mortgage funds to arrive in their account, because if they don't arrive and you fail to complete, it's not good. Exchange day is a day that you're legally bound to complete on the property on completion day. Everything before that was not a legally binding agreement. Now it is. So they want to make sure they leave those 5 clear days for your mortgage funds to arrive with them. Some people might have a couple of months because of logistics of moving. So don't panic if you're exchanging and you're completing months later, or if you're exchanging and completing next week. It's all totally fine, and it just depends on the transaction. If you found this helpful, please like and subscribe for more property advice. And if you need a solicitor, surveyor or mortgage broker, get in touch with Conveyancing Collective. We're happy to help. Now, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.